their preferred candidates ahead of a vote open to everyone this summer.
But the June primary will essentially have everybody else. I think that's a very important distinction.
Both parties chose candidates by caucus until 2021. The new system goes along with the Democratic Party's move to have Nevada and South Carolina go early. The state's GOP caucus takes place February 8th. One of Donald Trump's former lawyers, Joe Tacopina, tells MSNBC that it's absolutely possible the former president will be convicted in one of his federal criminal cases.
Do I think there's a political bent to some of this, some of the way this was gone about? Yes, I do. Do I think these cases are invalid cases? Look, a grand jury voted to indict, and he's going to have to face a jury in Washington, D.C.
4 grand jury.
Yeah, 4.
Finally, the U.S. Supreme Court just gave President Biden a victory. It ruled that pending final court action, Border Patrol agents can remove deadly razor wire deployed by Texas Governor Greg Abbott along the southern border. I'm Alex Gonzalez for Pacifica Network and Public News Service. Find our trust indicators at publicnewsservice.org.
Good morning. It's KCHW 102.7. Getting started on a Tuesday with your KCHW morning show. And my co-host this morning, my beautiful and lovely and talented sister Val.
Good morning. I love introductions like that.
Do you? Do you?
Yeah.
Makes you
I'm
feel
gonna be
good?
feeling important all day.
You should. You are. You're very important to lots of people.
Oh, thanks.
They depend on your calmness and your sensibility and your wisdom. It's just too bad your kids don't listen to you.
I think that because I very seldom tell my kids what to do, it has to be a dire situation before I say, you should. And so I think when I do say something to them, they probably are more apt to listen just because I'm not hounding them about everything.
Isn't it tough to keep your mouth shut, though?
Oh, man, sometimes it's like...
But it can come back to bite you, especially if you don't want to put yourself in the middle of a relationship. I think most parents know that, and maybe some have learned the hard way. But, yeah.
Yeah, so that's when you just have a glass of wine and take another sip so you don't say anything.
Well, and then when I look at my own life, I got no room to talk or give advice, right? Right?
Well, I do because I've been married coming up on 40 years.
There you go. There you go. Which could be a good thing or a bad thing.
Exactly.
I know, though, just joking around. It's a good thing. And you kind of shrug it off when I say that, but I think anybody that's made it 40 years of marriage and they're still happy with each other needs to write a book for the rest of us. Or do how-to videos on YouTube. Come on.
And I think both of our boys have kind of made the comment that, to have a relationship like years and dads, we don't, you kind of set the bar high. It's kind of you feel like you're going to fail type of thing.
Yeah.
So.
All right, let's get started this morning so I can close some windows because I can see I'm taxing the internet here in Maine. You've got some crazy weather going on. 40 for a high today. Rain and snow mix this morning. Shower or two in the afternoon. Otherwise, mostly cloudy. Down to 36 tonight under cloudy skies. I don't think I've ever seen a January rolling into a February with this warm of temperatures. Wednesday, 41 and 35, 80% chance of afternoon rain. Thursday, 38 and 35 with a mix of rain and snow at 40%. Friday, cloudy, 40 and 34 with just a 20% chance of rain. Up at 50% for Saturday with a high of 41. Sunday, 46 with morning rain. Very, very, you guys are going to get really muddy. Looking ahead to next week, okay, if the long-range forecast holds out, it's the same as it looked last week. I see 47, 46, 47, 47, 44. This is going to be all the way into, I see February 6th still at 39 degrees. This is one of the warmest January, Februaries that I've seen in Chewelah in years, and it's going to make stuff really tough for their winter festival.
For sure. And the ski hills kind of gotten those double whammies. They finally got a really good snowfall, and then it got extremely cold. And then it warmed up and they've been getting rain. So
Oh
they're kind of
no!
it's been a tough year for the ski hill too. So
Yuck! Yuck!
yeah, yeah. So oh man, it's just crazy. Our weather is certainly doing extremes. So
And California, for being one of the driest states, now is like turned into one of the wettest ones. Looking at pictures of San Diego with people wading through waist high water through town. Crazy.
crazy.
It
Yeah.
is.
So it's just yeah,
wacky.
the weather changes, and I know people. I think that's kind of why they went from saying global warming and things like that, because people would see kind of the opposite, and so I'm glad that they went to the phrase climate change, because I don't think anybody can deny.
Something weird's
They
going
might
on.
deny, yeah, they might deny why it's happening, but how can you deny that the climate is changing drastically? So
Maybe from now on, just for wacky but true, we'll just do weather stories.
there you go.
Wacky but true.
Wacky but true.
All right. This morning for the kids, pancakes, sausage, fresh fruit juice, and your choice of milk, like typical. And then for lunch today, mac and cheese, miniature maple bars, take one of those. Fresh veggies, green beans, fresh fruit, and again, your choice of milk. Everything sounds yummy today.
Are you hungry this morning?
I am. I usually never eat breakfast till after the morning show, just because, we do 2 hours of talk, and it takes about 2 hours to get ready.
Mhm.
So I just kind of skip the breakfast thing, and that's good for you. Kind of that intermittent fasting or daily fasting for
Right.
me,
Yep.
and I try to eat as late as possible till I start getting lightheaded, which is probably in about 5 minutes.
This morning it's different, huh? Scott's not drunk. His blood sugar's
Yeah,
dropped.
it's dropped, and I've passed out. All right. Let's see. Taking a look at events this week, we have a story time at the library today, 10:30 to 11:30. Pickleball tomorrow, soft pickleball. I believe they're doing this at the middle school in the gym. So they used to do it at the up at the golf course, but it's wintertime, so that's kind of cool. Soft pickleball, 11 to 2. I don't know what the difference is. Let's see. Monthly co-working at the Yale Press from 1 to 1:30. And they've got a TED Veterans Quilt drawing going on Wednesday as well. So check that on their website. Don't forget, Food Bank is open on Thursday, 10 to 2. On Friday, and you can check this out on the Chamber of Commerce website on their calendar, a Twilight Snowshoe get-together. That kind of sounds fun.
Yeah.
All right. That's a 3:30 to 8 p.m. deal. As well, adult pickleball on Friday, too. And then an art show on Saturday from 2 to 6:30 up at the Chihuahua Golf and Country Club called A Light in the Darkness. This is their second annual art show for for winter. There you go, A Light in the Darkness. Very cool. All right, there goes all of our events. Don't forget, if you've got something you want to submit, if you do it through the chamber, everybody gets to see it. Or you can, and we'll see it too, or you can just go to the kchw.org and just send one directly to us.
There's all sorts of way to get your word out there.
That's right, and it's free for government agencies, schools, nonprofit, community groups. There you go. Some free announcements. It's public radio. We don't like to call them advertisements because they're not really. All right. Even the sponsors.
Not allowed to call them that, are you?
No, and even our sponsor announcements that you hear on the top of the hour, we consider those thank you announcements, and they are tax deductible. So if you're a business and you want to sponsor public radio, get in touch with us through the website or at 509-935-6627. And supporting public radio, also a tax deduction. Doesn't get any better than that.
Yes.
All right. Before we get to the jokes this morning, I saw this, kind of surprised me. 2024, record-breaking year for retirement in the U.S., with an average of 11,000 Americans a day celebrating their 65th birthdays.
Wow.
Yeah.
What happened 65 years ago that there's so many people? Such a baby boom, right?
It was. Approximately 4.1 million Americans poised to turn 65 this year and every year through 2027. Dubbed by experts as Peak 65, or I like this one, the Silver Tsunami.
I like that too. Silver tsunami.
Makes me feel bad.
Well, pretty soon the government's going to start talking about defunding Social Security again.
Yep. We're going to be costing it too much, and we're headed that way too. It's scary to think I'm only a few years away from that. Less than a decade.
I'm kind of looking forward to 62 and a half.
Not at all.
I'm going to start drawing while there's still money in it.
Yeah, hurry up. Don't wait. All right, this one kind of fun. Kids in trouble, though. 4 charged in a case of a dead longhorn cow dumped outside Oklahoma State fraternity ahead of a football championship game in Texas. 4 students arrested in connection with the dead cow.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Luke Ackerley, Bennett Fatty, Andrew King, and Brody Shelby have all been charged with misdemeanor for unlawful disposal of a carcass. They didn't kill the cow. They just found it dead.
Okay.
Yeah. Woo! Good for them. A dead longhorn was found on the law of the farmhouse fraternity. How fitting.
Yeah.
It was the day before, it was December 1st and the day before the Big 12 championship football game between Oklahoma State Cowboys and the University of Texas Longhorns. So just a little fun between the fraternities.
Can it have to, can you do it without having a carcass of some sort?
Yeah, 'cause a fake one would have been much better.
Yeah.
All right.
Good morning, Ken. Thanks for joining us this
Whoop,
morning.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop,
All
whoop.
right.
He spends just a little bit of time. He's got other plans Tuesday morning, but he always stops and listens to us for a little while before he takes off on his day. So.
All right. Very nice. We appreciate that, Ken. All right. Story out this morning from college researchers let's see if I can find the college now. I lost it. PhD student. He is, I'm trying to find the university just to give him some credence, and I'm not seeing it as I thumb through it. But I want to get to the core of this story. This kid has done a bunch of research into electric cars because they get a lot of bad press about the lithium. So he did research into mining and said even with the growth of electric cars, lithium is one of the things that we have plenty of. And of all the things that get mined on the earth, it's the least mined. And he says you've been misled about lithium batteries. They are 95% recyclable. And basically the propaganda about how bad they are is all coming out of the oil industry. Makes sense, doesn't it, though?
Yeah, the only the thing that I saw, which I know is truth because it came from a firefighter, is if they do catch on fire, it's horrific. I mean, you can't hardly even put them out. So
and that's going to change. Just a few years ago, I watched a documentary about batteries, and there's a guy inventing a new lithium battery, and he was pounding. I've talked about this on the radio before. Pounding steaks. So he pounds a steak into a regular lithium battery in a control room that's safe. And it obviously shorts out and catches fire. Then he takes his battery and he pounds some 20 steaks into his battery. It does not catch fire. Sparks a little bit, but it does not catch fire. And when he's done pounding the steaks in it, the battery still worked. So that was pretty impressive. Now, will that get swallowed up and disappear? But it's kind of like when you buy a new car and it's the original year model, you end up being one of the people that experience all the problems with that model.
Mine could be, yeah.
And, that's an old thing that they used to say. I remember Dad used to say, never buy the first year manufacturer of any car model. Don't buy it in its first year because they're working out the bugs. And I think we can kind of translate that into the electric cars. These first few years where it's great, the people that can afford it are getting on board and buying them. But these first few years are going to weed out all the problems, and I think things are really going to get better. I've got a friend that posts every now and then, Ron. We'll see him on the chat room, and he's one that's been very worried about it. And I keep telling him, stop. Necessity is the mother of invention, and it'll get better. And you can already see it in places. So that's my theory.
I think the thing for me, and I'm. Don't see us because we're such a rural area where we are in Washington State. I don't think you're going to see a prevalence of electric cars. But when you look at like California, they have so many electric cars, but they have been, I mean, rolling brownouts and all those things that have gone on because of the situations in California. So, there's always that risk. Can I even charge my car? And so I think that there has to be there. We don't have quite the an infrastructure in place
True.
to support this push to be, only selling electric cars by 2035 or whatever their dates are. I just, at this point, we don't have the infrastructure to do that. So yeah, I think there has to be, I'd like to not see us put all our eggs in one basket too, like we did with fossil fuels. Let's have that research into electric cars, hydrogen. There's all these other technologies out there that they're working on at the same time as they are the electric. So let's have some diversity in that too. I think that would be really
Sure.
a good idea.
Sure. All right, just like the electric cars that are freezing up, the Teslas, they'll figure out a way to keep that from happening.
And how many people's cars froze up during that time too? We see the huge emphasis on the electric cars,
But
because
how
they're
many
new and it's-
actual real cars, right? That's a good point.
Right, because they didn't put antifreeze in it, or they're heat and cold are killers on car batteries. Just the ones that just start your car. So you don't see proportionally how many people were stranded because their regular gasoline car.
Something
froze
got
up,
left
so.
on in the plow truck here
Mhm.
in our plow truck here in Maine, and drained the battery, and then the cold snap came up. And then we had snow and needed to plow, and the truck wouldn't start. And we're researching it. We pull out the battery. Here, the battery, it had drained, froze,
Mhm.
and both sides of it were bulged. So something broke in the inside, and
Mhm.
so it can happen to any car. But yeah, let's
Exactly.
point at that. And like I said, that's what do they call that? Yellow journalism, when you purposely try to make something appear bad that might not be, or put a special light on it that it doesn't need, make a bigger deal out of it than is actually true. And who
Mhm.
knows who's pushing that kind of stuff? Like if this kid's right, if that's all coming out of the oil industry, who knows?
Well, I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, their livelihood is at stake if you are talking about being all electric by a certain year. So, yeah.
All right. If I don't know if you heard this one on the news, Val. Next one, I'm going to introduce you to a crazy person. State Senator Ilena Garcia. She is from Florida. Okay. Which everybody in Florida is crazy anyways, right? So a little extra crazy here.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has put up a Florida Freedom Fighters Fund bill, and she introduced it into the state Senate, and the Republicans all really excited about it. It was done up to offer $5 million to Donald Trump to help him pay his legal fees, under the guise of anyone would qualify for this bill who was running for president and charged with crimes or victims of political discrimination could apply for this $5 million fund.
Oh, my goodness.
And in a surprise, I mean, the guy that really loves the crazy of Florida, Ron DeSantis, said if it lands on his desk, he's vetoing it. And I was like,
Really?
What? Really? Yay!
Now, I want to know if he made that statement before
He
he
endorsed
dropped out
Trump?
of the presidential race.
And
Because-
yeah, because now he endorsed
Yeah.
Trump already.
Right. So I would imagine his stance on that may have changed in the last week.
Yes. And you heard then Sunday he did drop out of the race for Republican nomination. So
Mm-hmm.
he didn't
So-
realize this important thing about politics.
They're all gonna laugh at you.
And I feel like for us, they're all going to lie to you.
Yes, they will. All right, we'll move away from that fun stuff here. Mark Hamill was picking on Ron DeSantis online. After he dropped out on Sunday, Mark Hamill, of course, of Star Wars fame, Luke Skywalker, he said, "You belong in the Hall of Fame, the Terrible Candidates Hall of Fame."
The other thing I noticed immediately, because Donald Trump has not been able to say Ron's real name since he started running against him. It's always been Ron DeSanctimonious, right?
Or something, yeah.
And then I like the second after he dropped out of the race, he was back to calling him Ron DeSantis. And so I was like, ooh.
He wanted his endorsement. He
That
did.
changed
He
really
did.
quick. Oh, of course.
He wanted his endorsement. That's all what it's all about, right?
It is.
All right. Another fun story this morning shows a really tall Chinese guy running a race with a cigarette in his mouth, and he was chain smoking his way through a marathon and was disqualified for smoking on the course.
Oh, jeez. Oh.
Chinese Athletic Association implemented the regulation last year to encourage healthier participation in the race. Uncle Chen, now 52, gained internet fame 2 years ago after photos and videos showed him running a race with a cigarette in his mouth.
Jeez.
I take it deep into my lungs.
Oh, hey, Ken just said when Val runs for office, she will put the Val back in value. There's my slogan right there. Oh my gosh. But Brad and I always joke because he said, he would, just joking about him running for president. He's like, I should run for president. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I won't be your first lady. And he's like, what? And I said, I want nothing to do with that place. And so that was the other day. He asked me again, would you still not be my first lady? I'm like, nope, won't do it.
We had a asteroid explode over Berlin Sunday morning. Why don't things like that ever happen over where I live? It's depressing. All right. Did you see what happened at the Grand Ole Opry on Saturday night?
I did not.
Oh, Ella King took the stage. She's, had a little history of a drinking problem. Did you know she switched from pop to country? Because I didn't. I just thought
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, Elle King.
All right. So she was performing at the Grand Ole Opry in a tribute to Dolly Parton for her birthday. Dolly Parton was not there. I don't know why she would skip her own birthday party, but maybe she knew it in the wind. On stage, Elle was drunk. Started cursing, which I guess is like never really happened, but maybe once at the Grand Ole Opry. But started dropping some colorful adjectives. Started singing her Dolly Parton song and then forgot the lyrics.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
She's taken a lot of heat over that one.
I bet. You can, mess up any other place, but you don't mess up when you're doing Dolly.
Yeah.
At the Grand Ole Opry.
And then she started cursing because she forgot the words and then tried to sing one of her own songs. And yeah, it was a show.
What kind of show?
I can't say that on the radio.
Yeah.
All right. Out of Japan, Tohoku University team has successfully replicated human walking in a robot.
Ooh.
Here it comes. Give it a little AI. Nice shirt. Some long hair. I got me a wife.
What I just hope though we've had how many movies about the robots taking over, artificial intelligence taking over, and I hope in this process that people have looked at all the ways in the movies that programming them to not destroy the human race has not worked. The loopholes that AI found. So I hope we've learned from the movies to make sure programming, there are no loopholes for them.
We really need that 3 laws of robotics to work.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah.
All right. I think, let's see. Oh, last one here, and we'll get to some funny stuff we got racked up for you this morning. A very relatable moment. NASA struggling for 3 months to get the lid off its asteroid sample. Have you caught this in the news?
No, I have not.
Okay, they sent a ship to the Bennu asteroid, and they collected samples. They got it back, but it didn't get sealed up correctly on the spaceship by the robots. Imagine that. And they've been unable to get it open. So having sent it into deepish space and back, same NASA, same, just like us. I've struggled with jars of pickles. They couldn't get their jar open either. It took them 3 months. They had to build special tools. But they got it open. You know what's inside?
Nothing.
Dirt.
Just dirt.
It's like trying to get a broken Roomba open, I suppose.
Oh my goodness.
Poor NASA. It's so sad.
Oh, it is.
All right. Moving on to bits and breaks this morning. We've got our morning jokes. And Val, would you be so kind to start them off?
Sure. You probably know this. When I was a kid, I prayed for a bike for a long time, but then I learned that's not exactly how prayer works. So instead, I stole a bike and prayed for forgiveness.
Oh. Somewhere there's a kid crying. I don't know, Val. I don't mean to brag, but cashiers are always checking me out.
But now you do self-checkout.
Look at me. No, there's usually one. There's usually one, one you can go through for help. And that's where I go because I need all the help I can get.
Hey, Brad and I are always laughing about how competitive we are, but I laugh more.
Oh! I don't see that as competitive at all. All right, this is
We
great.
laugh at each other a lot.
You do, actually. All right, I picked up a hitchhiker last night, and he asked me how I knew he wasn't a serial killer, and I told him the odds of 2 serial cars being in the same car are astronomical. You should have seen the look on his face.
Who knew you could jump out at 60 miles an hour?
Yeah. Roll, boy, roll!
Hey, a teacher said to her student, Billy, if both your parents were born in 1967, how old are they now? After a few moments, Billy answered, it depends. And the teacher said, well, it depends on what? And Billy replied, it depends on whether you ask my father or my mother.
Oh, all right. Suggested today on our cheat sheet as a topic to put on your Facebook page. Who had a job where they spent most of the day with an actual pen in their hand? How
Ooh.
far would you go back where you'd spent most of the day with an actual pen in your hand writing?
Well, I suppose, back in the day, it would have been any author. They would have to spend most of their day with a pen in their hand. But I'm trying to even think of recently, since I even started, having a major career, there was some sort of typewriter or something. You didn't actually write by hand.
I had to go all the way, thinking about this, I had to go all the way back to college when I worked as a desk clerk and a night auditor for Quality Inns.
Oh, okay.
Everything was done, and you can imagine now you had this huge spreadsheet. I mean, it was massive. It took up the whole desk. And you did the night audit and balanced the books every day. So not a pen, but a pencil.
Mm-hmm. You weren't that confident. in
No,
your
but
abilities.
that's the only job I can think of where I had a pen in my hand all the time. And I bet it's pretty rare now.
Well, just think of in high school. I mean, we still did everything with pen and paper. At least I did. I mean,
Yeah.
all of your I shouldn't call them book reports, but all of your
Essays, anything like that.
essays and
huh?
stuff. Yeah, you all did it by hand. Yeah.
All right.
And I was such
go
a
ahead.
freak about getting things right and having them look right, that I loved it when they came up with the erasable pen.
Didn't really work,
But-
though.
But it didn't work great. But I would, if I like messed up my handwriting a couple times, I would crinkle up the paper and redo the whole thing before I turned it in.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
You didn't
I
learn
know
that
I
at
had-
home.
No, I guess I didn't realize till I talk about it now that I had OCD.
Oh, you were too smart for your own good as a child anyways.
Oh, that's it.
All right. All right, moving along this morning. This one's for Val. 8 things we didn't know yesterday. A full 8 things.
A full 8 things. If you yell for 8 years, 7 months, and 6 days, you would have produced enough sound energy to heat 1 cup of coffee.
That sounds like a waste.
Here, I thought my yelling was making a difference.
Nobody likes people who yell.
They don't.
No.
Pepsi was first invented in 1893 as Brad's drink.
Do not share that with him.
By Caleb Bradham, who sold the drink at his drugstore in New Bern, North Carolina.
Wow. Brad's drink.
Brad's drink.
Glad they switched that up.
Yeah. Another one you didn't know yesterday. Our skin does not have receptors to feel wetness. It can only detect things like temperature and pressure, but not wetness. This one kind of blew my mind because I swear when something, when a drop of water hits you, I mean, you think you're detecting that it was a drop of water, right?
Is it just because water has its own feel to it and that's how we determine it's water?
Maybe. Yeah,
I mean, because if you close your eyes and stick your hand in a finger of water, you can tell it's water.
Right. But is that just because it's liquid? I mean, you couldn't tell if
it was milk or water. Yeah.
Or, yeah. Anyway, I thought that one kind of blew my mind. Yeah.
Blew her mind.
We're going to stick on the water theme here. Water is a closed system. The water we drink every day has been used since time immemorial.
So I'm drinking water other people have drank and used in their toilets and all that kind of stuff is what they're saying?
They're basically saying that.
Dasani.
Still water, and you won't be able to tell if it's wet.
All right.
How about Russia? In Russia, you can buy beer at the post office.
I wonder if they have a problem with a lot of violence in their post offices.
Here, buddy, settle down, have a beer.
Yeah, because alcohol and anxiety never go well together.
Oh, yeah, we probably remember this more than younger people would, but in 1994, 80% of the U.S. population was within a 15-minute drive of one of a Kmart.
Remember how Mom would always force those Kmart sandwiches on us? And for some reason, we thought they were kind of good as a kid. We'd be excited about it. But then after you got into your second one, you were kind of like, it doesn't taste very good.
Yeah, because that one, when we went to the big town of Bismarck, I mean, we always hit the Kmart. Yeah.
Even in Spokane, the one out in the valley for a while.
Yeah, they had one right there where the Lowe's is on North Division, too. That used to be a Kmart. Yeah. I mean, it's back before the Walmarts and the Targets and the Shopkos and all of those other, that was the original.
It wasn't really any different. So if Walmart can survive and Target can survive, why couldn't Kmart survive? Or Sears, for that matter?
Maybe their quality of product was a little higher, and so their cost of doing business was a little higher.
Could be.
I don't know.
I don't think so. Okay.
All right. America's windiest city is Great Falls, Montana.
I don't believe that. It's got to be Butte.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering that myself, but that's really interesting. I'm gonna ask Brad that one.
Yeah.
Yes, he drove to Montana a lot, Butte, Great Falls, all of that. So yeah.
Oh, this next one, I don't know, man. That's pretty disgusting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 32,000, and that's the world's largest toenail collection. 32,000 toenails.
Who does that?
Who does that? And then who counts them?
How do you verify that?
Exactly.
Can you imagine? And we might get to it before the end of this segment. Maybe not. We're running kind of long, but we did some on Friday at Guinness Book World Records. And then I started thinking about the poor people who have to go out and verify these. Who goes out and verifies the collection of 32,000 toenails? And do you get a bonus for that?
Right. Is that hazard pay? Disgusting.
Oh, I wish I could find that Fingernails for Cash song I had.
Yeah, I remember that.
Let's try this one, maybe. We need something with toenails.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Maybe.
I keep asking myself,
Rosanna, Dana, if they can make a coffee you like without caffeine, why can't they make a hamburger you like with no toenails?
Could I have a hamburger, hold the toenails?
You know, finding a hair in your hamburger, it's like, ew, but, but can you imagine finding a toenail in your hamburger?
No, I don't even want to think about that.
So disgusting.
I don't even want to think about that. Oh, man.
Yuck.
All right, let's see. Moving along this morning, if your pet could talk, what would be the first question you would ask your new dog, Charlie, Val?
Who he likes better, me or Brad?
Oh, ouch.
Oh, I already know the answer to that. It would be Brad.
Is he Brad's dog?
Well, partly because my knee has been so bummed up. I mean, when we first got him, we were both going on walks with him. And so, you kind of build that bond. You just take a turn, walking him on leash and doing all those things. Well, then I kind of bummed up my knee. And so Brad's been the sole walker of the dog. And so, yeah.
You get bonus points for that. Just like being the feeder of, like I was the one who always fed the cats. So the cats always liked me better.
Mm-hmm.
They're always worried about whether I was coming or going and what I was doing. They might not have liked me better, but they were more invested in me.
Right. But I mean, if we're both at the house and, and I go down to the bathroom or a bedroom or whatever, Charlie always follows me to make sure maybe that I'm not doing anything fun or getting him food. I don't know which is, but so yeah, I mean, I know that he likes me. I just think he has more fun with Brad. So there's definitely more of an attachment there.
Sammy started getting worried I was stealing her cat, but it's because I play with it. So the minute she sees me, she gets excited. Oh, play, hide and seek. All right, oldest websites ever, Val. This is a list of the oldest websites that are still online. First one from 1996, Space Jam, the movie.
Do you think people still visit that website?
Well, they might today.
Yeah, after we mentioned it.
Yeah. I like this one, too. Spork.org.
From 1995.
Dedicated to the spork.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Again, I want to see the website traffic for some of these.
Milk.com. I bet you a lot of people might end up still there. It's from 1994, but this site is not about milk. It's a site of links run by a guy named Dan, but he's willing to sell milk.com for $10 million, and apparently he's been waiting to do that since 1994.
See, where he failed in that, though, or especially asking $10 million for it, if he had bought gotmilk.com.
Be a rich man.
I think he'd be a rich man.
Yeah. Kane Farber and Gordon Incorporated. This is from 1987. Still online. Belongs to a business in California specializing in systems and software design. So they've been in business a long time. That's cool.
They have, yeah.
And then the last one on the list is from 1986 as well. Wow. First websites, totally. itcorporation.com, itcorp.com, owned by a software consulting firm. Probably the most basic website to ever exist. Kept in its original form. I'm going to have to go look at that one. I'm curious now.
Back in the day before they really had all these programs that did your website design for you, and I know you did it too, we knew how to write in HTML.
Yeah.
I think both of us did. We knew how to design a website in HTML. Couldn't remember even any of it now, but yeah.
Yep. All right, weird smartphone apps with Val. I think she's downloaded at least half of these.
The first one is iFart.com, or iFart, I guess, apps. It's not the .coms. iFart app, an app that produces fart noises for you.
Nice. It's totally something I should have on my phone.
I don't think you need it.
Just squeeze me.
iBeer, which is an app that transforms your phone's screen into a beer.
What good is that?
I know it.
Wow.
Here's one, Demotivational Pics, an app that provides demotivational insults to turn your smile upside down.
You're horrible. Why would you do that?
That's awful. I think you have this app on your phone, Places I've Pooped, an app that allows you to mark the location where you've pooped.
Why would I do that?
This is the app I swear I'm really going to get, though.
Okay.
It's called Run Pee. And it's an app that tells you the best time to run and pee during a movie without missing the best scenes.
Oh, that is good.
I know.
You know, backing up to the other one, I was going to do a similar thing, but you'd really have to travel to pull it off. So somebody could do this on a YouTube channel. I was going to do great forgotten outhouses of America. And just every time you saw an outhouse, pull over and do a film. And I have a couple short videos. And one of them is Sammy's with me. She's about 10. And I find a double-decker on the side of the road, you know, a twofer. And I pull over and I start shooting video. And she won't come look at it. And I'm trying to convince her. And I got the camera shining in there. I'm going, it's totally clean and pristine. There's nothing wrong with it. And it's a disaster. Until I finally get her coaxed over to take a peek in it. And it was nasty. It's a fun video, though.
It's on video.
Fun
I mean,
video.
we kind of spent a section of our teenage years knowing totally what it meant to use an outhouse.
Because we had one at the cabin.
Mm-hmm. And there was no running water up there, technically. And so, you grew up learning to use an outhouse.
So, and that was back in the day when we were kids, so 70s. And would you like to tell folks how far that outhouse was from the lake?
Far enough, you better give yourself a lot of time.
No, it wasn't that far.
It wasn't that far.
Maybe
it
what,
was,
50 feet, 75 feet?
Yeah, it was one of those things I'm sure you couldn't get away with anymore.
Uh-huh. And they were all over the lake. I would not swim in Turtle Lake for nothing anymore. No.
Now that you know, I mean, as kids you didn't know.
No.
But it kind of tells you why all the water in North Dakota is brown.
Yes. Why all the fish float.
Oh, here's one called Cat Paint you and I could use. It's an app that allows you to add cat images to any of your photo.
I think that sounds kind of useless because almost every photo app does that now.
I was going to say almost every one of my photos includes a cat already.
It's true.
It's true. Here's one that's a little disgusting. It's called Pimple Popper, and it's an app that allows you to pop virtual pimples for fun.
Who would do that?
I'm picking up a heavy, creepy vibe here.
You could, make one that you can watch other people cut their toenails. I don't know.
Gilda Radner would love that.
Here's one that's a spirit story box, and it supposedly communicates with spirits who reply with single words or phrases. I've had one of those on my phone one time just for the fun of it, just to see kind of what it did. But yeah, I'm sure it's just a random phrase generator.
I'm sure you heard a lot of this. No.
Oh, are you out there?
No.
And then finally, the last one I have on this list is called Crack My Screen. And it's a prank app that makes it look like your phone's screen is cracked.
Now, if you could send that to somebody else and make it show up, that'd be good.
Yeah, they leave their phone laying around and you have enough time to get that app on it for them.
Huh. I wonder if they use one of those ping photos, that always have transparent backgrounds.
They must.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, let's see. We're going to cover the Razzies in just a few minutes. But first, funny phrases used by parents. Parents were asked some of the words and phrases they've made up to cope with raising their kids. First one is called help. No, just kidding.
I was going to say, the first one I'm sure is a word we can't say on the radio.
All right, first one is three-nager, and that's a 3-year-old throwing a teenage-style fit. Or a teenager throwing a 3-year-old's fit
kind
would
of
be
fit.
Yeah.
I think so. It goes either way.
I like this one. A baby's explosive, called a punami. And a mom who looks like a zombie due to lack of sleep is a mombi.
That's cute.
That's cute.
I've looked like one before too.
All right, I see way too many parents doing this. It's a practice called iParenting, and it's using an iPad or a tablet to keep your child quiet.
We used to just use the TV.
Yeah. Come on.
Come on.
Yeah. And it's amazing when you see a 3-year-old just whipping their way on that iPad, watching YouTube videos and stuff, and you're like, they're 3. But
Yeah.
kids grasp onto it really quick. Toddlers, it's amazing. All right. The handover. And that's what's passing the baby to your significant other as soon as they walk through the door.
As a stay-at-home mom for years, I know this one well.
Yeah, I bet.
Brad always says as soon as he got home, I threw the kids at him.
And Val, what do you call it when the baby fills a diaper for the 20th time that day?
Deja vu.
All right. Razzie nominations. Oscar nominations will be announced today, but yesterday the nominees for Razzies were shared. Razzies, short for the Golden Raspberry Awards, celebrate the worst in filmography. The awards were co-founded by UCL film graduates and the film industry veterans John B. Wilson and Mo Murphy. First awards were presented on March 31st back in 1981, and the event has been held annually ever since. Typically the day before the Academy Awards is a little dig. And here comes Val with what was the worst this year?
The worst picture, well, I don't know if they're actually numbered and, from worst to worst. But The Exorcist Believer.
Yeah, they just can't come up with new ideas. More proof?
I guess not.
Give me more
You
proof.
can't-
There's no new ideas.
Yeah. I mean, how many times can you show somebody's head spinning around and make it new?
Yes.
The Expendables 4.
Well, they're a lot of fun, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one I never even wanted to see because you could tell from the name how bad it was going to be. Meg 2, The Trench.
I love shark movies, though. I'm in with that group, though, that would actually watch a Sharknado film, but not 6 of them.
Yeah. We watched this one recently, and it really was that bad. Shazam! Fury of the Gods.
And here's what I don't understand about that one is the first Shazam movie was so cute. It was a great family movie, and it was funny, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I could not finish Fury of the Gods. I just turned it off. It was ridiculous.
It was ridiculous.
It was like Power Rangers.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
So, and then finally, and I've never heard this one, and for one, it's a really bad title, was Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
I'm picking up a heavy, creepy vibe here.
So Winnie the Pooh went into the public domain.
Okay.
And they did a horror movie.
Oh.
Now you get it?
Now
This
I
year,
get it.
look forward to Mickey Mouse because Steamboat Willie entered the public domain. So they can now, they're worried that somebody's going to take Mickey Mouse's likeness and do a horror movie with it like they did to Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, man, I didn't even know that. Oh, wow. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to worst actor, number 1. And he's always been a bad actor, so is this any surprise? Russell Crowe in The Pope's Exorcist.
Isn't he also the guy that ruined Meg Ryan's marriage to Dennis Quaid? Yeah, pretty sure.
Is it?
Yeah, pretty sure.
He's
All right,
so
and
ugly.
I'm with you on that. I have never enjoyed a movie with him in it.
Nuh-uh.
So
Nuh-uh. He gives off that creepy vibe or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Next one, Vin Diesel in Fast X.
I think that Vin should have stuck with being a tree.
But again, you get some of these action heroes like Arnold Schwarzenegger. He had a series, and I can't remember which streaming service it was on. It was only one season. I don't know if they're planning another one, but not a good actor.
Really?
You know?
Really? You're going to go after the Arnold?
I'm going to go after the Arnold. I mean, always entertaining, but when it comes right down to it, he's not that great an actor.
So I feel like, just to add to that Sylvester Stallone has hit his stride and has finally became a good actor. If you watch Tulsa King, okay, awesome show. And then Arnold came out with his TV series, which isn't as slick and well done, but I still really enjoyed it.
Oh, I did too. Brad and I watched it, and I enjoyed it. I'm just saying he's not he's not the best actor. It was still a good series. And it was funny.
Pretty
There was
sure
some
you're
really...
going to pay for that.
There was some very hilarious lines in that series too.
Yeah.
It was good. So, Chris Evans in Ghosted.
I didn't see that one, but poor Chris Evans. Okay.
I know. Jason Statham again. I love his adventure movie. I mean, his action movies. But in Meg 2, The Trench, that's what he's getting the Razzie for.
Okay.
And then the last on this short list is John Voight in Mercy.
Yeah, he's kind of in, I think, in the same boat as you put Russell Crowe in.
Mm-hmm.
They should do a movie together that no one will watch.
There you go. And you're going to see some of these in the worst actress. We see the same movies come up in the whole list. Anna de Armas in Ghosted.
Okay.
A worst actress. Megan Fox in Johnny and Clyde.
Just not
Never
surprised.
even heard
Sorry.
of the movie.
Okay. I haven't.
Selma Hayek in Magic Mike's Last Dance. Jennifer Lopez in The Mother. You've got a singer turned actress. I actually kind of enjoyed the movie, so I don't know if I would have given her a Razzie, but hey.
Okay.
And then Helen Mirren in Shazam: Fury of the Gods. And she's a really classy actress, and she's done some really classic, type of performances. So, but yeah, I don't know why she agreed to do that movie.
Maybe she saw the first one with her grandkids and thought, "Oh, that was so good. Yeah, I'll be in it." Nope.
Right.
Nope.
And then
let's say Jennifer Lopez. I have the same opinion of her singing and her acting. Sorry. Really, her and Ben Affleck, perfect couple for actors.
I don't know. I loved Ben playing Batman.
Did you?
I thought
he
yes,
did okay.
I did.
It was okay. It was okay.
Yeah, he was okay. We just watched. I think we just watched Justice League. It was like the extended version.
You're not very good
of Justice League. I didn't mind that movie, and I think he's one of my favorite in my list of Batman.
Wow.
So,
wow.
Yeah.
I liked his. The only movie I just really enjoyed with him in it, I think, was Paycheck. If you ever saw that, that was a good flick. If you ever want to go back, especially since they're not putting out any good new movies, you want to go back and watch one. Ben Affleck, Paycheck, good film.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then our last on our little list of Razzies here is the worst prequel, remake, or ripoff, or sequel. First on that list is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Though, the special effects were amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a kaleidoscope of vomit. Just saying.
Of all the Marvel, DC, shows, I don't know, movies or whatever, Ant-Man's one that I've never really connected with, I guess. So, yeah. Same. I don't know. Same with the Spider-Mans. I mean, they're good, but I don't know. Having this Peter Parker who's just like a dumb kid, I don't know. Anyway, the next on the list is The Exorcist: Believer.
All right.
So we're saying these same things again. Expendables 4.
This one's new.
Indiana Jones and the Dial of
Destiny.
Just still beating a dead horse. And then finally, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
All right. Full circle there. There you go. The Razzies for this year with my sister Val. Thank you, Val.
No, you're welcome.
All right, we'll come back in a little bit. We'll have after break. We've got to thank our sponsors and deliver a little news and reset. And we're going to have birthdays for today, any local birthdays that we can dig up. And we always wrap up the show with wacky news. So we hope you will stay right here on Northern Lights Public Radio. Let's see if I can get my buttons pressed here. It's KCHW 102.7, and we will be right back.
It's 8:20.
Your KCHW morning show, made possible by a donation from God-Fearing Brothers Auto Center. God-Fearing Brothers specializes in auto services, including repair, maintenance, and detailing. They also stock a full selection of tires, make glass repairs, offer towing, and have an auto sales lot on the corner of Highway 395 and Main Street at the light. For more information, you can visit the Auto Service Center at 806 East Main in Chewelah. Find them online at godfearingbrothers.com or by phone at 509-935-6414. KCHW-FM thanks God-Fearing Brothers for supporting public radio in Stevens County.
And by Chewelah Flooring.
Chewelah Flooring at 214 East Clay in the 3rd Street Mall offers a wide variety of products, including carpet, ceramic and porcelain tile, vinyl and laminate planks, and vinyl sheet flooring. Chewelah Flooring carries products for both commercial businesses and residential homes, including brands like National Flooring, Del Tile, Mannington, and Mohawk. They also offer blind repair. For more information, you can visit online at CheWelahFlooring.com, call 509-935-8021, or via email at CheWelahFlooring@gmail.com.
Chewelah Motel and RV Park. Chewelah Motel and RV Park, located at 301 South Park Street in Chewelah, offers 14 single or double rooms, each with a refrigerator and microwave, in-room coffee station, Wi-Fi, cable, and 58-inch screen television. 2 Airbnb options are available, both with full kitchens, coffee, and a 65-inch smart TV. They also feature 26 full hookup RV spots with 30-amp service. For reservations, they can be reached at 509-935-4763 or CheWelahMotelandRVPark.com. Chewelah Motel and RV Park, 301 South Park Street in Chewelah.
This is KCHW 102.7.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Simon Gaitan. Intense fighting has seen the deadliest day for the Israeli Defense Forces in Gaza since the fighting began. 24 Israeli soldiers have been killed. At least 195 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza in the last 24 hours, according to the Hamas-run health ministry. Sarah Coates reports from Tel Aviv.
Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is vowing we will not stop fighting until absolute victory, adding that lessons must be learned after the single deadliest day for Israeli troops since this ground operation was launched inside the Gaza Strip in October. 24 soldiers killed in the space of a day, 21 of those in a single incident alone. According to IDF spokesperson Daniel Hagari, troops were destroying Hamas sites. An RPG was then fired at a tank, which triggered another explosion, bringing 2 buildings down on soldiers. The Gaza Health Ministry says hundreds of Palestinians have been killed over the last few days as Israeli troops continue to push further and further south in an area the military describes as a Hamas stronghold. In Tel Aviv, I'm Sarah Coates.
The UK and the US have launched their second joint strikes against Houthis in Yemen, aimed at deterring attacks against cargo ships in the Red Sea. The British Foreign Minister says the strikes send a clear message to the Iran-backed fighters. Julia Chapman reports.
U.S. officials say 8 locations were targeted in Yemen by British and American forces. They launched more than 25 munitions, targeting the Houthis' missile and surveillance capabilities. UK Foreign Secretary David Cameron says the strikes send the clearest possible message and are degrading the Houthis' capabilities. But in the 10 days since the last joint strikes, the Iran-backed Houthis have carried out 12 attacks on cargo ships in the Red Sea. A Houthi spokesperson says the attacks will not go unanswered or unpunished. Julia Chapman, London.
The government of Rwanda has said it deplores the inflammatory statements made by Burundi's president at an event in the Democratic Republic of Congo over the weekend. The Burundian leader accused Rwanda of backing a rebel group based in the eastern DRC and urged Rwandan youth to join the struggle to liberate themselves from their leader. Chris Okamrinja has more from Kinshasa.
Burundi's president, Evariste Ndayishimiye, was speaking to young Congolese citizens at an event in the DRC capital, Kinshasa. While responding to a question about the alleged warlike tendencies of President Paul Kagame, President Ndayishimiye called on the youth in Rwanda to join the struggle to liberate themselves from their leader. The Rwandan government has issued a statement describing the Burundian leader's remarks as baseless and irresponsible. Relations between Burundi and Rwanda soured last year after an attack left 20 people dead in Burundian territory. Chris Ochamringa, Kinshasa.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks, with an update today on the situation in Sudan, 9 months after a violent conflict erupted between Sudanese armed forces and the opposition Rapid Support Force. It all began last April. More than 7.4 million Sudanese have been displaced by the violence since then. 25 million people, half of them children, are reportedly in desperate need of humanitarian assistance as governance in the country breaks down. Bob McMahon, with America's Council on Foreign Relations, says there is no immediate cause for optimism.
There's ethnic cleansing that goes on, and the thought of the RSF gaining a sway over most of the country really sends chills through Sudanese because they have antagonized the population. The peace process through this Intergovernmental Authority on Development, or IGAD, that again was seen as this new effort to try to get something going. You have to have the principals willing to sit down and talk. That's not happening. The UN says a pittance of its humanitarian appeal for Sudan has been answered so far. This is a country facing severe food shortages, if not famine. It's got a population in flight. It's got a population preyed upon by combatants. And it's got a world preoccupied with other matters that's not spending enough time focusing on it.
The UN says in one city alone, El Geneina, last year as many as 15,000 people may have been killed in ethnic violence. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
To recap the top stories, intense fighting sees the deadliest day for the Israeli military in Gaza since the conflict began, with 24 Israeli soldiers killed and at least 195 Palestinians killed, according to the Hamas-run health ministry. Burundi's president has accused Rwanda of backing the M23 rebel group in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And the UK and the US have launched their second joint strikes against Houthis in Yemen, aimed at deterring attacks against cargo ships in the Red Sea. That's the latest feature story news. Simon Gaitan reporting.
And we're back, but I should have hit stop. All right, I got it now. We are back. It's KCHW 102.7 Scott and Val on a Tuesday. I think we are America's only brother and sister duo on the radio.
At least that's our story, and we're sticking to it.
All right, let's take a look. At first, Simon sounded on the news. I don't know if you got that. He sounded like he's sick. He sounded like he had a really bad cold.
I think I was doing my coffee refill and stuff at that point, so I didn't hear it.
So my question to you is, when I hear somebody broadcasting and they have a cold, it creeps me out like I'm going to get the cold.
I think it's contagious, huh?
I do. It just the sound of it's like, oh, that person's sick. Ooh.
Ew.
I'm going to have to put hand sanitizer in my ears again.
Oh, God, here we go again. Dork alert.
On the radio or
something. All right, local birthdays. I'm going to roll them out here for today, the 20. Am I right? Yes, the 23rd. Aspen Cats are having a birthday. Brandon Hackler, Nessa Young, and Rebecca Dryzus, if I'm saying her name right. If I messed it up, I'm really sorry, Rebecca, but that's a cool last name. I like the spelling. All right, big round of applause. You know him and love him. See him around town, point and laugh. Tell him we talked about him on the radio. All right, celebrity birthdays. We're going to head to Val.
The list is kind of short today.
It is.
Richard Dean Anderson, I think we all know him as MacGyver.
Yes.
Can you believe he's 74 today?
No.
Wow.
No.
Wow. Gail O'Grady, she was in American Dreams and on NYPD Blue, and she is 61 today. Mariska Hargitay. Is that right? Mariska Hargitay?
Sure.
She was in Law & Order Special Victims Unit and is 60 today. CBS News Evening News anchor Nora O'Donnell, 50. And finally, Tiffany Thyssen, she was in Beverly Hills 90210, and she's 50 today.
You know, Richard Anderson always gets the MacGyver thing, but I think he actually did Stargate for many more years than he ever did MacGyver. And that was a much better show.
Yeah, I watched Stargate. I love that show.
Yeah.
But, you don't say he Stargated things. No, we MacGyver things.
I want to Stargate things, though. Come on.
But it's one of those words that has, taken, it's it's especially for people of our generation. I mean, we know what it means if I say, hey, he MacGyvered that.
I've had people say that about me. In fact, every time Chuck looks behind the mixing board at the studio and sees all the wires, he goes, oh, Scott MacGyvered everything.
And so those people who may have never seen MacGyver, that was his thing. He could, build a radio out of, a Swiss Army knife and a couple other things. I mean, he just could, make whatever equipment he needed or whatever thing he needed just with random wires on hand or something.
I knew they rebooted the series, but I never watched it.
Oh, I didn't either.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't know they.
Yeah,
oh, yes, I did. I'm going to take that back.
That.
Yep, they did, and we watched a few episodes, I think, but it just wasn't the same.
Well, my favorite character from him was always Stargate, though, much more than MacGyver. But that's part of my love and my dream of to one day get off the planet. But as I near the end, I've come up with the opinion that the only way I'm going to be able to do that is to die. Yeah. Unfortunately, space flight is not for me. Well, maybe in my mind.
Right.
Yeah.
I was always hoping that by the time we got to this age, it would be kind of more commonplace.
Yeah, me too.
But it's that line, Star Trek line that you've heard over the years. Beam me up, Scotty. There's no intelligent life down here.
That's true. All right, on to history. We call it Happened Today. Let's see if we can find anything intelligent. 1845, Congress decided all national elections will be held on the first Tuesday after the first Monday in November.
Okay.
All right, the first Tuesday after the first Monday. So if there isn't a first Monday, or like it could end up being a lot later in the month then. That's like, we've seen elections on
so
like
you can't,
happen
it
on
can't
the
be
8th.
Yeah, it can't be just the first Tuesday. It has to be after the first Monday.
All right, 1849, English-born Elizabeth Blackwell became the first woman in America to receive a medical degree from the Medical Institution of Geneva, New York, 1849.
Pretty cool.
But you didn't have to have a degree or a license. You could just call yourself a doctor, and you were automatically a doctor.
There you were. Stepping just quickly back to your first story, I really think they should make that day a holiday so that people can have the day off to go vote and do their civic duty.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Good idea. All right, on to 1986. A Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inducted its first members: Chuck Berry, James Brown, Ray Charles, Fats Domino, the Everly Brothers, Buddy Holly, Jerry Lee Lewis, and Elvis Presley, 1986.
Oh, wow. I would have thought I don't know why I would have thought it was before that, but cool.
On to 2007, a new rule requiring U.S. airline passengers to show a passport upon the return from Mexico, Canada, and the Caribbean took effect. On to 2013, U.S. Armed Forces overturned a 1994 ban on women serving in combat.
Ooh, okay.
2018, I actually have a friend who has a friend in the Ukraine who kept female officer, and she was keeping track of how many Russians that she had gotten, which is kind of dark, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2018, 12 camels were disqualified from Kim Abdullah's Camel Beauty Contest in Saudi Arabia after their owners used Botox on the camel lips.
Oh my goodness.
Can I just say her first name, Courtney? Oh.
Oh, boy.
That's a nice camel. All right, last one. Stop it. 2020, the voice of a 3,000-year-old Egyptian priest was recreated by scientists by using 3D printing of his vocal cords.
Wow. That's pretty fascinating, actually.
Oh.
Yeah.
I bet you AI can do it now.
Probably.
All right.
Yeah.
Special events. We go to Val.
Oh, today is Measure Your Feet Day.
Hold on.
There seems to be no sign of intelligent life anyway.
Why?
Have you ever? Okay, I'm gonna give you this. Have you ever measured your actual foot length, though?
No, I don't think I've ever, outside of like being in a shoe store and having someone measure them for me. No.
Here's why it can be helpful to know how long your feet are, which sounds bizarre, but here's why it's important. If you want to step something off and you go heel to toe to measure something, if you know the length of your feet, then you can get a fairly accurate measurement when you're stepping things off like that.
Well, I'm a size 9, and with my shoes on, it's usually right at 12 inches, so it's really easy for me to step things off.
Yeah, and I'm a woman size 7.5, 8, and I'm about 12 inches long as well, so it makes it easy to step things off.
Okay. Wow.
All right, so measure your feet day. It's a public service announcement.
We are two wild and crazy guys.
Today is National Handwriting Day, and we had that little story from earlier.
Trying to remember when the last time you had a job where you just used a pen or a pencil.
Mm-hmm. It's Pie Day today,
right?
And it's also Rhubarb Pie Day.
Okay, and that's pie, not the mathematical.
Right, actual pie. Okay. And if I was going to choose a pie to enjoy today for National Pie Day, it would not be rhubarb.
No.
Key
lime.
Key lime?
Key lime or lemon meringue?
Mine would be lemon cheesecake.
Ooh.
And I don't know, that probably doesn't officially
qualify as a pie.
Qualifies pie.
Doesn't have pie in the name.
But it's round and has a crust.
Okay.
So
it's a pie. You heard it here first, folks.
That's right. Another public service announcement just for you. And then finally, today is Speak Up and Succeed Day.
Succeed!
Number for the day, 257,300, and that is the number of reservations in Glacier National Park in 2023, up from 180,832 in 2022 and 135,086 in 2021. Look what COVID did.
Yes. That's what I was thinking. You can tell we were still a little afraid of COVID in 2021. We really didn't have any, we were just getting vaccines. So, yeah. Crazy.
All right, moving on to what we like to call news and nuggets this morning. We've got a few of them here. First up, Bigfoot and the bears. New analysis published in the Journal of Zoology found that there's a strong correlation between purported sightings of Bigfoot and the prevalence of black bears within a region. That's right, folks. There is no Bigfoot. You're just seeing bears. Researchers found that for every 1,000 bears in the area, the frequency of sightings of Bigfoot increased by 4%. Within forested areas study, there's about one Bigfoot sighting for every 5,000 black bears. Names for Bigfoot differ across regions. Sasquatch is widely used in Canada. Skunk ape in Florida. But only close
That's
to...
not just the governor?
No, it's more close to Mar-a-Lago, where the sightings happen. Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, it's the one with the orange hair. You've seen that, like from Harry and the Hendersons, kind of reddish.
Yeah.
All right, so skunk ape in Florida. Grassman in Ohio's version of Bigfoot. In Virginia, the term wood booger is used.
I'm liking that one.
Pretty sure I caught a wood booger. Pretty sure. Louisiana, it's called the Honey Island Swamp Monster. And in Michigan, the Dewey Lake Monster is used. In the Himalayas, a Bigfoot is known as Yeti or the Abominable Snowman. In Australia, the creature is called the Yowie. In Mongolia and Central Asia, it's known as a llamas. And in China, the term urine is used. But that's just the smell they leave behind.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure it's probably not pronounced urine.
Y-E-R-E-N. How would you pronounce it?
I don't know.
Yeah, urine.
So I'll just play devil's advocate because I know somebody personally who is an avid hunter who has been in the woods his whole life and swears he saw a Bigfoot. And I don't know how somebody with that much knowledge of the woods and animals would mistake it for a bear. So there's my devil's advocate.
Once
today.
again, they just spotted your husband because he's like 8 feet tall and hairy.
Oh.
Was it him?
I will never tell.
Was it him that thinks he saw it?
No,
Oh,
no, it's
okay.
not my husband
Okay.
that thinks he saw it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, God, here we go again. Dork alert.
I'm just kidding. All right, pick a story, Val.
Oh, let's see if we had a good one. I'm just taking a quick look. I'll just make it easy. Let's go with the firefighters here. Firefighters in Texas saved a deer that found itself in a tight spot. The Georgetown, Texas Fire Department responded to a call about an animal in distress and discovered the deer stuck between the wooden supports on the porch railing. The firefighter showed great care and gentleness in the operation, ensuring that the exhausted deer could safely escape. The deer quickly ran off, reuniting with its herd.
Well, where were you?
Where have you been?
Winter's in full swing, and while humans are bundling up and dealing with freezing temperatures, alligators at the Swamp Park in Ocean Isle Beach, North Carolina, are facing their own unique challenges. The rescue alligators who live in a secluded sanctuary pond have been forced to adapt to the plunging temperatures by remaining in the water and freezing in place. I've seen this. They freeze in place with their snout sticking out of the ice.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. And I wonder what happens if it would snow. Would you have to go out there with a vacuum and suck out their snouts?
One of those little squeeze balls that you used on your kids to get the snot out of their nose.
And is that a wood booger?
Don't know.
Okay. All right, just checking. I saw the pictures. Absolutely crazy, but it is the first time I would pet an alligator. In a recent post, the Swamp Park shared photos of the alligators encased in ice sculptures. The park explained that these cold-blooded creatures can go into a state of brumation. Huh. Brumation.
Brumation.
B-R-U-M-A, I think. Bromation sounds good. Brumation, when waters begin to freeze rather than hibernation. They stick their snouts out of the water to breathe while the rest of their bodies stay frozen.
Wow. That's pretty wild.
It is very wild. Not something you want to try at home.
For sure.
All right, Val.
I got one interesting one here just because we've talked about how AI can replicate so many things. And I would kind of assume this was an AI recreation. Maybe. But anyway, robocalls during election season are common, but a recent incident in New Hampshire has raised eyebrows. The state attorney general's office is investigating a series of robocalls that used a voice resembling President Joe Biden's to discourage people from voting in the presidential primaries. Office officials believe that the messages were artificially generated and are an unlawful attempt to disrupt the election.
So there was a bunch of under the story yesterday. I had to click on the comments because I knew people were going to go nuts with conspiracy theories. They always do. We don't know nothing, but we're going to make it up because it probably happened.
Yes.
Yes. So, I mean, it was amazing. And one of the cutest ones I saw, though, was just like, how are they going to figure this out? Because we all know the do not call list doesn't work.
Exactly.
10,000 points for that guy.
Uh-huh. And I don't know if that applies to the calls you get regarding elections. I wonder if that falls under that do not call list whatever mandate. I don't know if that falls under that.
Well, they really thought this through because they've got the I think she is the head of a Democratic super PAC. Or the head of the Democratic convention, something like that. They used her personal phone number.
Ooh.
So when it showed up on your phone, it was her phone number.
Wow.
So
wow.
Somebody's going to be in a lot of trouble.
In a lot of trouble.
A lot of trouble.
Crazy.
All right, let's see. I think that is going to be our last story. Let's head off to Odd News and wrap this show up, Val. It's KCHW 102.7. At time right now, 8:44.
Slap some bacon on a biscuit and let's go. We're burning daylight.
It's the world of strange. A world gone wacky.
Out here, due process is a bullet.
And some of the scariest people on the planet.
I think you're bluffing.
Be afraid.
You know, you look mighty pretty when you get mad.
It's your Odd News on KCHW.
Just sit back and enjoy the show.
All right, we always kick off the show with the news attack. My sister's going to do it. First part true, second sentence, bad joke.
All right. A woman in California allegedly stole $2,500 worth of Stanley cups from a store.
Okay.
That's like 4 cups, right? And everybody, when they hear that word Stanley Cup, we don't tend to think of it. These are just like a Yeti cup or something like that, these new Stanley Cups, and it's the latest, greatest craze.
Yes.
So I haven't even checked them out.
Oscar nominations have been announced. This year's Oscar nominations are so diverse, they even include movies some of us actually saw. Did you go to see one movie this year? Or in 2023?
If we did, it was back at the beginning of the year. I really don't remember. We always talk about going to the movies, and then we're like, oh, we'll just sit home and stream something. So,
yeah, I can't remember the last time I sat down in a theater. I think it was 2022. So.
Yeah, we've gone to a few out at the casino. We met friends because they live in Avery Heights, so we'll meet out there for a movie. But I'm trying to remember. If we did, it was springtime-ish. So.
Okay, long time.
Yeah. The Academy Award nominees were announced this morning. Some of these categories are too close to call, especially Best Picture without a British accent.
That's how tough it's getting. Universal Studios rebooting the Jurassic World film franchise. Didn't we just do this?
I thought so. It's been rebooted so many times.
We can't come up with a new idea for nothing.
No.
The new Jurassic World will include a scene where dinosaurs debate climate change. Spoiler alert, they're against it.
I didn't know the dinosaurs talked in any of those, though.
It's new. It's new.
It's new. Universal Studios, hey, if you didn't hear, it was rebooting the Jurassic World film franchise. This time around, the dinosaurs will have a chance to share their side of the story.
Oh, it's so sad. Study found that Americans still work nearly 20% more than Europeans. Well, isn't that why European immigrants moved to this country, to escape the tyranny of mandatory vacations?
Had to be the reason.
Yes.
Study says there may be a link between obesity and poor sleeping habits. Well, duh. It's hard to sleep with all that chewing.
Do you do the midnight snack thing?
I do not.
You do not.
I do not. But I really need to cut back on my evening snacking because I think that's part of my weight gain
problem
issue. So,
besides the
yes.
knee? Yeah.
Yeah. So we always, it's usually healthier snacks. We usually have, we have a bag of pistachios by the Cheers, but they're better for you, but they're still high in calories. So,
okay.
Yeah, I need to stop that habit.
I instead of I used to be horrible about having cookies or those kind of pastry snacks in the middle of the night, and I gave it up. Now I do meat, but it's kind of disgusting to wake up at 3 a.m. and have a big old hunk of steak.
That seems to be something that was hereditary. I think both our dad always did that. Yeah. Mom had cookies in the house because he got up during the middle of the night and needed a couple cookies. And I think Butch did that, and you do that. So
I wake up just starving, but now it's I'll grab luncheon meat or something like that for a snack, and it just seems wrong. I still want cookies.
You still want that. And I really think probably because it's a hereditary issue, it has to do with how your blood sugar drops or something at that point in the evening or overnight. So, yeah.
Yeah, most people wake up to go to the bathroom. I wake up to eat. All right, last one. A study found you can increase your marathon time by drafting a runner in front of you, sort of like NASCAR drivers do or like people will do behind semi-trucks.
Yeah.
Except if you bump the runner in front of you, you get slapped in the face. What are you doing so close to me? I'm drafting you.
Oh.
Do you think that would work with girls?
Oh, no. Creep alert again.
What if they're bigger than me?
Oh.
You're the kind of girl I could draft behind.
When people are drafting behind you, and then you're like, oh, what are you trying to say here?
Yeah.
Hail to the king, baby.
However I can get them to follow me, I don't care.
being, when Brad and I rode motorcycles, I sat behind him. I always rode behind. But I could get behind him like this and not get any of the draft.
If he's behind you and you're driving, he's just eating bugs because he's like 2 feet taller than you.
Exactly.
All right, on to Wacky But True, and you kicked that off too, Val.
All right. A woman in Hungary was trapped in her small pantry for weeks and survived on bottled juice and tomato juice. Bottled fruit juice, I would take it, and tomato juice. The woman accidentally pulled the door handle off the pantry and became locked inside. After neighbors finally heard the woman's cry for help, firefighters responded to free her. The woman was in good health and had lost a few pounds.
Wow. I think when they say bottled fruit, they're talking about canned fruit.
Oh,
Because it's
okay.
Hungary, and they use different terms and stuff.
All right.
But yeah, if you're going to get locked in a room in your house and nobody's going to find you for 2 weeks, pantry's probably the best place.
Exactly.
But they're usually kind of small. And
That's true.
yeah.
You can fit people in ours, though. We've got a big pantry.
It's a pantry and a bathroom. Oh, listen to this.
And there they are. America's most coveted cookies, love handles, skinny mints, neeners, and smackaroons. And guess what? They're all yours.
What, I'm sorry?
I'm just trying to say, you're too damn skinny. Look at you.
You're looking skinny, too, now that you're just ahead.
You didn't need laxatives to stay skinny.
That would be the one problem with being stuck in there.
Yes.
Ooh. A man armed with a tree branch robbed a Portugal bank of just over $1,200. As the robber attempted to flee, he was grabbed and beaten up with this tree branch by other bank customers who held him until police arrived.
I love that kind of stuff. I got some stuff on branches, too.
I wouldn't grab that branch if I were you.
Mr. Henderson very angry. He's a full branch manager.
Welcome to the Long Branch. I do not suppose you could have split things up.
We got a little club kind of branches all over the country.
And on that tree there was a limb, and on that limb there was a branch. And on that tree there was a limb, and on that limb there was a branch.
All right. Nobody
I
beats
love
me with my
instant
own
karma
stick.
stories like that.
It's awesome. Yeah. All right, let's see. A woman in California, we get more deets on this story, allegedly stole 65 Stanley Cups. Now, I know these are just coffee cups. They're not like little miniature Stanley Cups or anything.
No, they're just like from what I've seen, they're just like a Yeti or something along that line.
Just
like a
popular,
Yeti cup.
huh? All right. All right. They must be spendy. The stolen cups, the 65 stolen cups, estimated to be worth almost $2,500.
Wow.
She must be an eBayer.
Must be.
On Thursday, police near Sacramento, is that supposed to be Sacramento, received a police having Sacramento received a report of a theft from a store. Store staff witnessed the suspect loading a shopping cart full of Stanley bottles without paying for them. When confronted, the suspect refused to stop and managed to stuff her car with the stolen merchandise. Short time later, an observant police officer spotted the suspect's vehicle and decided to initiate a traffic stop. 24-year-old woman was arrested for grand theft because of the price of all the cups put together.
Wow.
Right.
I'm going to have to check it out now, though. I'd see what all the hype's about.
It's everything I could find on Stanley Cups right here.
Jim never has a second cup at home.
All I see is a bunch of empty cups.
Oh, Stanley. I wish you could see this.
Come on, baby, bring it out. Bring out the cup.
Fly away, Stanley. Be free.
Two farmers, let's take it to Washington, in Stanwood, Washington, found themselves in a physical altercation over livestock. According to the Snohomish County Sheriff's Office, the fight escalated to the point where one farmer struck the other with a pitchfork. The two farmers involved in the dispute were apparently arguing about goats, though the exact details of the argument remain unclear.
That's a dangerous weapon. A pitchfork?
Yes.
Wow. It escalated quickly.
If she fails us, we better get used to herding goats.
What's up, Goat Roper?
Goat ropers in Stanwood, Washington. I hope they're listening.
I hope so.
All right, off to Germany we go. A couple were sitting in their van in the front parking lot of school when they got into an argument. During the argument, the hubby picked up a toilet plunger and conked his wife in the back of the head. Really? I hope it was new. Here you go. That's all I could find on, like, plungers and stuff.
I guess, sure. Do you have a plunger here? While I'm thinking of these things for the morning, you know, my plumbing is just so bad. No, of course, yours is good plumbing here, right? Yeah, I would imagine. Yes, don't worry.
What could he know? He's a long shot plunger.
Oh, boy.
What's that? All right. Do better.
Yeah. A 29-year-old in Virginia caused a four-car crash Monday morning while driving recklessly on the James River Bridge, but rather than face the consequences, he fled on foot before jumping off the bridge to avoid arrest. Some do-gooders in a civilian boat pulled him out of the river and sent him to the hospital, and probably to jail.
Where I'm gonna wind up. Just the other night I was sleeping under a bridge, and now here I am on the grandest ship in the world having champagne with you fine people.
They gave us champagne? Huh. All right. Last one, Val. Will you do that one too?
Sure. A landlord in France removed the toilet and other fixtures from a basement apartment to get a tenant to move out. Hoping would force his tenant to move, the landlord also removed the stove, oven, and countertop from the apartment. He was fined.
Oh.
There could be somebody on the toilet.
No, the apartment's vacant.
Are you sure?
Okay, now take a look.
Nope, nobody on the toilet.
So I have, this kind of reminds me of a situation because Travis broke up with a girl who was living in his house, and she refused to leave his house. And so there are so many funky rules about all of that. He didn't know if he could. I mean, he had to like file all this things in court and stuff trying to get her to leave, right? And I said, honey, just tell her you're doing a bathroom remodel and take the toilet out. Maybe she'll move.
Yeah, that's kind of scary. Landlords go through that
Yeah.
stuff all the time. Wow. All right,
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to wrap this up. Big round of applause for my sister for showing up this morning. Thank you, Val.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, tomorrow on the show, Sharon Ludwig, Lavon Ellis, and Chuck Ritchie give you the lowdown on all the events coming to Chihuahua. Please join them. It's KCHW 102.7. Other than that, we want you to have a great day. Say goodbye, Val.
Goodbye, my brother. Love you.
Love you too.
If she fails us, we better get used to herding goats.
What's up, Goat Roper?
This concludes the broadcast from World Control.